please subscribe and like and push that notification bell for more notifications. Hello guys, welcome to the Talking News, and now you can see that we are back on a Savannah Spurlock case. I feel like I have ran away from her. I feel bad for that because there's been so many new stories, and there's just not enough time in a day. So in this video, if you watch till the end, you will see that we do have a lot of updates on Savannah. But what I'm wanting to do here is I want people to realize, look at this little girl. Isn't she so cute? I want you guys to realize this is a real person. She's not a was, she's a now. She was loved by her family, and she has been missing since January 4th. The family has officially hired a private investigator, thank God. And he's based out of Lexington, Kentucky. And they said that, you know, they're just wanting to add a few enhancements, you know, to make maybe, you know, up the chances of finding Savannah Spurlock. Of course, they still have the FBI and the police still working on this case. And I really believed in the police in that area. I was really hoping that they could crack this case and find Savannah. I really did believe in them, and I hope they are able to do so. But we are things are moving a little bit too slow right now, so it makes sense to me that they want to hire private investigators, especially since we realize these kind of crimes are growing tremendously the past, I have to say, 15 years. So, and not only that, police their hands are tied, they're overwhelmed, they have so many cases and not enough hands to work them. And I believe, guys, if you give the police more spotlight when they crack a case, the spotlight they deserve, you will see the police work much harder than they do, because then they have, you know, they realize people are thankful. So that's why I always try to make sure that I mention the police in every story. Sometimes the police are not so good, sadly. But Savannah Spurlock deserves to have her case investigated and solved. So hopefully, I'm going to try to find out where the family has a place to donate money. I know they have one. I just haven't had time to get it up for you guys. So maybe you can help them with the private investigator, because they're going to need it. Now, Savannah Spurlock, she was only 22. She's 23 now, and she had 4 beautiful children. She's a mother, she's a daughter, she's a sister, and she's a niece. She's also a best friend, which tells you that she has a lot of people who absolutely believe in her and love her. So she's very loved. And these people feel like they have had their lives torn apart because they cannot find Savannah. Now, she was last seen at the Lexington bar called The Other Bar. She went with a few friends of hers. They stayed for a bit, and her friends needed to leave for reasons. You can check out my older videos. You can get a lot of details on the beginning of this case and what happened. I'm just giving you a brief description. But anyways, her friends left her there alone after an argument of what time to leave. And approximately, because I do not have my notes, this is a thrown together video here. I have no scripts or anything. It was approximately around 2:30, 2:21 that she was leaving the bar, and the parking lot cameras caught footage of Savannah with 3 guys. So we do know that Savannah FaceTimed her mother and let her mother know, she's okay. But her mother said she kind of got some bad vibes off those guys. You could tell it in her voice, and at the beginning when she spoke about this case, she kind of laid off of it later, but we all know that she did not get good vibes off these guys. And of course, you know as well. So, but that being said, she told her mother, I would be home, not too long from now. So she drove 40 miles to David Spade. I'm sorry, is it David Sparks? Good Lord, I need my notes. But one of the guys' name was David. She drove to his house. Supposedly, the guy said that she went to that house and she left the house approximately between 8 and 8:30 by foot, and they have no idea where she went. Her phone also was shut off about that time. That was the last time anybody could ever even get a ring on Savannah's phone. So here's the problem. Cops did get search warrants. They checked the car, they checked the house that she supposedly was at, but they really didn't find much, at least as far as we know they didn't. And one of the evidence that we normally hear about when you get a warrant or a search warrant for something like this, you'll hear of some type of residue found. But there was nothing. We've heard nothing. So this makes me think there's a possibility she could have been or is still alive. So remember the case I mentioned on David's house. You can see the house has wood floor in it, seems to me, which means there's a space underneath. I wonder if the cops were able to go underneath that floor and search for any of maybe hidden doors or anything like that, because after watching the McKenzie case, you can't overlook any of that, especially since men are admitting that they're hunting women. And now you have the dark web and all these things where the evil can even hide even better. So you really have to think of it like this. So, okay, so there's a place, when you get on the computer, it's a world wide web. It's a place that you've never most likely seen, and passwords are replaced by encrypted invitations. You have these hidden doorways, and they're all these encrypted rooms and chats and that people don't know about. The thing is this encrypting is becoming something that's easy for anybody to do, and that's where it's going to become a problem. So they can only access it through like an anonymizer, I hope I said that right, browsers, like a Tor project, which they hide the IP addresses, so the web surfers with malicious intent cannot be traced. It is known as the deep web or the dark net, and it's the same place where the college students want to buy their drugs or and get them delivered to their dorms, according to one article. It's also a place where guns and things like this are actually sold to terrorists and things like that. It's all of the darkest human acts you can think of happen in the dark web. Even the children are sold through the dark web. Trafficking, of course, is through the dark web. And you have a few people that are doing articles saying, oh, no, men are not hunting women. I can't find any proof. You don't need to, because the men tell you they do it. If you refer to the Cannibal Cop, if you haven't seen that story, I'm asking you to go check that out, where I can't remember which documentary, because there's a lot on him now. But I think it's one of the first documentaries he did. They were able to find out and share the text between him and his friends that were on there, because there were several men from all over the world who were planning, you know, to hunt women, and they were helping each other out. Of course, he says it was not real, but there was a few acts that he carried out that made us believe that it was real. But still, men are admitting they're using the web to carry out, you know, their fantasies of hunting women, etc. And I wonder if this case is one of those. I want to say, though, if one of those 3 men are involved, it would be so nice if one of them would just come forward, because this girl's family deserves more than what they're getting right now. They deserve closure. And if Savannah is still alive, we ask that you release her. I think there is a chance, hopefully, that she's still alive. And I also know that one of these men can tell us something. They're just not telling us anything because they're afraid to narc. But there's tip boxes out there. There's anonymous tips. You guys can find a way, one of you, to give a tip to help this family find closure. It's so important. Think about it. If it was your family, you know, your daughter, your sister, think about that. Think about your mother. How would you feel? So anyways, yes, this family has offered ways to get tips to them anonymously, and they claim they will not, the person that gives the tip will not get in trouble. So, you know, I would have to say I believe them. They also offered a new reward of $15,000. This is the second one. The first reward was offered by the father of Savannah, and it had a time limit on it. But now the family is offering a new reward. So if anybody knows anything, you know, you can get $15,000 for the information that you have. Now, the family's also been dealing with, they've been hanging posters of Savannah in certain places. And when they go back to check on these posters, or they walk past them, they notice that the poster's gone, but the plastic's still hanging there. So the family, you know, say, well, somebody knows something. That's what they believe, and I think they are right. But what in the world is wrong with people? Why in the world would you take the posters down? So, I mean, it doesn't even make sense. It's a terrible thing to do. Is it a prank, or is it somebody that knows something? You know, it's a little legitimate question to ask. Now, Savannah has 4 children that really need her home. There's nothing more important than a mother in the early stages of a child's life. It's just, that's the natural instinct of human beings, is to have mothering. And her children right now are lacking that. This is a very cute picture of Savannah when she was little. Isn't she darling? She looks like one of the boys. I can't remember his name, but maybe next video I'll compare the 2 pictures. They look so much alike. But we've got to start paying more attention to people around us. Please, guys, start paying attention to people around you, especially women and children. And maybe we can prevent this from happening to other people, to where we don't know anything. Now I would like to talk about what people believe happened to Savannah. So I want to share some comments that I've read throughout the internet and on my channel. And a lot of people believe that Savannah is maybe still alive. And I agree with them. There's a chance that she could be, especially since they haven't found any type of residue or anything. And a lot of people believe that these guys know, all 3 of these guys know something. And I think I agree with them on that. And I think Savannah's family also agrees. And The father of Savannah's children, one of them, Mr. Smith, says that he does believe that those men know something. I mean, they all know Savannah very well, and they know that this is not the type of girl that she is to run off and not tell it anybody. So what I'm happy about is the fact that the family did hire a private investigator. Let's cross our fingers and pray that this private investigator is able to find some answers for the family. And for now, I need to close this video out. Just remember, guys, I didn't have time to script this one at all or plan it. I just took a few things that I knew, put those together, and I shared it. I also shared some information about the dark web, which I feel is important. You guys really need to start paying attention to that, and please look out for each other. You know I love you guys. Hashtag Savannah Strong, and I'll see you soon.